Hey everyone, it's Teresa, and today I'm going to be doing a comparison between the Explorer 3 and the Maker 3, and today's video is sponsored by Cricut, so let's just go ahead and jump in. It's been a really long time since I've made a video, but I'm back today to do a quick little comparison between the Explorer 3 and the Maker 3. Now, I've had a Maker for years. I had the first Maker, there's only two, but I've had the first Maker for a couple of years, and then I got the Maker 3 from Cricut, and they also gifted me the Explorer 3. And so I wanted to just do a kind of quick little comparison between those two machines for you. So with the Explore, basically anything that you can do on that machine you can do on the Maker. So what's really nice in both of these machines is both of them work off of like the smart vinyls, which is actually what this one is right here. Is big huge roll, or at least that's what I use. I use the big huge roll of vinyl that comes, I think, 75 feet to a roll. This one has obviously been used quite a bit. And then you can also of course use it on the mat just like normal. And so that's kind of the same between both machines. Now, the Maker 3 can also then cut about just all different kinds of other materials. I believe the Explorer is right around 100 materials, and then the Maker is quite a bit more. I believe they said up to 300 different materials. So you've got a lot more variety with the Maker if you need to be able to cut more materials, but you can still do quite a lot with the Explorer too. So today I'm going to just show you quickly how to make this little guy right here. It's just meant to be just a little luggage tag. I used some false leather from Cricut, some permanent white vinyl, and then of course their transfer tape. So this is just a really simple, easy project. You can actually use either machine to make. It's just using a fine point blade, which comes in your machine, no matter which one you purchase. And if you think you're going to want to do things like engraving or using it to cut a lot of different kinds of fabric, or even doing like some really cool detailed like embossing, go ahead and splurge on the Maker. I think that just by far the Maker has the most flexibility with the different things. And then if you think you're going to strictly do like paper and vinyl and not really go into all of those other kinds of materials, I would definitely say save a little bit of money and go for the Explorer 3. So let's go ahead and jump into the project over in Cricut Design Space and get started on the project for today. All right, so this is kind of what I'm starting off with. I did find this in kind of like an already community made project kind of thing, and this little V would go right on top of this little part of the tag, and I'm going to get rid of this V and actually use the letter that goes with my last name, which is a B. I'll show you real quick how I go about finding this right here, and then we'll move on with our project. I do not need the letter V, so what I did is I just came into images, selected cut only, and did flower letters B. Now obviously you can choose whatever kind of letter you need, but I'm just going to kind of go through here and figure out if there's something I like. Now on some of these, maybe you want to layer it, maybe you don't. There's tons and tons of different choices you can do. Or maybe you don't want to do a letter on your tag, maybe you just want to do a design. That's perfectly fine too. And if you want to also, I've seen a lot of people will do monograms. That's a choice that you could make as well. I'm going to select this one. It seems pretty simple. I think that'll be a nice one to weed. It's not going to be too difficult. Now, a lot of times too, what you can do, if maybe you choose something, come into this little, those three little dots, and you'll see sometimes they'll have like an image set. So this is probably going to have like all of the letters in there. So you do view image sets, see it's got tons of different options in here. So see they have 144, so you can come through here and find whichever one you want. And I'm going to go back to image because that is not what I want to do. Give it a second to reload. And on here, if you click the little dots, you can also do view similar images, and that one's kind of like still in test, so it might not be perfect, but it's going to give a couple of different choices as well. See, it's going to give us some other items that are the bees with letter or with the flowers and all kinds of different things. So there you have it, a couple of different ways to search for any image that you want and not have to search through every single thing that you can search through in Cricut. So I'm going to go back though and select the one that I want right here and add to canvas. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hide this. Since I'm doing it with two different machines, you really wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to hide that one so that it's not trying to cut it, and I'm just going to cut the letter. So we're going to go ahead and see, we've already got it set up for the Explorer 3. I'm going to click Make It, or Make. I'm going to do this without a mat. So one thing that's nice about both the Explorer 3 and the Maker 3, they are both able to work without a mat. They are just really easy to do that. It's really truly my favorite thing to cut on them. So without a mat, confirm. Smart Materials, I just like super fast and easy to get it all set up. So it's got it all set up here on the materials, ready to go. I have 13-inch material. It's going to fit, no problem. It's not that big. So go ahead and hit continue. Now it's going to go ahead and connect to the machine just like normal. This is pretty much the standard thing no matter which machine you have. It's going to connect either Bluetooth or by the USB cord that comes with your machine. Alright, so now you'll notice here it's got some of my typical ones that I'm going to be using are kind of marked off just because they may not necessarily work as well with the machine, or because I have it set up to be the Smart Material, it may not be available. And so we're going to be doing Smart Vinyl Permanent. And this is going to automatically default to the right pressures and all of that. And I've already got my fine point blade set up in the machine. And now we're going to go ahead and notice that on the machine it's got the little arrows going. You'll notice that here that it is blinking. That's standard across the board for pretty much every machine Cricut makes. And then what's that going to do is it's going to start feeding the material through the machine just like it would if it was the Maker, same with the Explorer. And so now it'll actually start prepping the machine for cutting, and it's going to ask us to go ahead and hit this button, the little triangle that's blinking, and now that is going to start the machine cut. Alright, so I've got my piece of false leather cut, my vinyl, and my transfer tape. I'm just going to go ahead and get a little bit of transfer tape off of the roll. This is my favorite one that Cricut makes. I feel like it has just enough hold, but not so much that you can't get it to, like release the stuff onto the, the surface or whatever you're putting your vinyl on. So I think it's, like I said, just kind of the right balance. On this one, I did go ahead and stick it to my shirt just a little bit because I know that that false leather is probably a little bit more delicate than like a piece of wood or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get that transfer tape onto my vinyl. Obviously, you can't really see it right now because it's white. It's going to look really pretty on the actual luggage tag though. So I like to flip it upside down, and I will put the kind of the transfer tape side down and then peel away the backing sheet. I feel like that kind of is the better option, better way. I don't know. It's just kind of everyone's taste. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little piece of parchment paper. You can use wax paper. I think parchment paper. No, I lie. Don't use wax paper. Use parchment paper. I think I did wax paper one time and it was a disaster. So I'm going to use this to actually help me kind of get it all lined up. I'm going to use my measuring mat, and then I'm going to stick my head in the way of the camera, so I'm going to edit that part out here in just a second. Once it's lined up, you're going to press down, and you see there's a tiny little bit of area that is not on the parchment paper, and what that is going to do, gives you something to kind of let it stick to. So then you're going to peel up your vinyl decal and oh so slightly pull out the little piece of parchment paper, and then you just smooth it all down with your scraping tool, and you'll have it nicely on there. It gives you the opportunity to kind of move things around if you need to, and it's just all around much better. So I was pleasantly surprised by how it didn't tear up the false leather. I haven't used this material before, but this is like their pebbled false leather. I was afraid it was going to pull at it and tear it and fray it, and it didn't. It turned out just right. So once you've gotten it nice and secured on there, I'm going to just take it and look at the back just to see if I had any little bit of area of that vinyl that was kind of sticking over the edge. So I had a tiny little bit, so I just took my craft knife and did a quick little adjustment to it, and there you have it. It's nice, it's done. See, that's how it works. Just slip it in through the little loop and away you go, right? So hopefully you guys were able to follow along on this one, and I hope that this helps to kind of guide you a little bit in the direction of which machine is going to be a better option for you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I will see you guys next time.